Good afternoon, everyone. I hope you are all okay. So today I thought I would do a little bit more work on the March cover page in Leila Duly's The Flower Year. And I thought we could do a leaf or two, depending on how long it's going to take. So there's not much in the way really of the daffodil leaves. Sorry, I am absolutely freezing cold today. So I thought that we would do a dandelion leaf. So I'm thinking maybe these ones by here might be good. So I know what dandelion leaves look like, she says. I do, but I'm just gonna have a quick look. Yeah, so they're quite bright greens. Well, depending, but as this is like, it's March, it's the start of spring and all of that, I think I'm going to do them quite bright. These are nice bright kind of spring greens and, those kind of colours. I haven't picked my colours yet. I am currently just having a look. But I have an idea, so I think we'll probably use the vivid green from the Derwent Lightfast. This tiny little spring green from my Luminance. And maybe the grass green 70%. And I think, actually, I want the dark Phthalocyanine green as well. But we'll see. I could do with a sharpener. Jesus Christ. Sorry. Just making all sorts of noises. I have like 6 pencil cases of gel pens right next to me, and I am almost positive my sharpener is like here somewhere, but can I find it? Of course not. Cool. Anyway, whatever, we can make a start. So I don't really know what I'm doing. Sorry, I've got paint under my nails and I can't get it out. All sorts going on. So, how do I want to do this? Do I want the middle to be darker or lighter? I don't know. But I'm going to start by just kind of going in the places where I know it should be lighter. So, where it looks like it's kind of curved upwards or towards us, that kind of jazz. Just going to pop a layer of that down. And then what I'm going to do is go into dark Phthalocyanine. That is a mouthful, and just put a very light layer where we want it to be darker. So this is just kind of mapping out where we want our colours. I really need sharpness. Okay. And then we're going to go into grass green 70. And we're basically going to go over everything. We're going to leave a little bit of that lightest, but kind of blend it in a little bit, if you get what I mean. We're going to go over the darkest. And we're just going to cover it all, just like so. I find it important to just get some colour down. Otherwise, I can just be sat there just thinking like, should I do this like this or this like this, and you know. Whereas if you just throw some colour down, just, you know, in a loosey-goosey way, it helps. So now this is the vivid green. This might actually be lighter than the grass green. A second. No, okay. That's fine. I was right. So we're going to start putting this in. And then we're just going to start kind of swapping backwards and forwards between our two middle colours. And just building up the intensity of it. So I don't think I asked, how are you all? Sorry, I just really jumped straight in there, haven't I? How are you all doing? It is a Friday. Yes, Friday the 21st of March. I nearly said May. No, March. Jesus. So this is the lightest, spring green. I'm just gonna go over where I've got it and just kind of, you know, cement that in a little bit more. And then the grass green. So, we, I think, are actually getting into spring now. Is it meteorologically, I believe, it is spring on the 1st of March. However, the spring equinox was yesterday, I believe. I now kind of say that's, you know, officially spring. So this is just a vivid green. Now I'm going to go in with the dark Phthalocyanine green. I'm going to add that in a bit here. So this is a really good dark green. I think it's about the darkest that you can get, really. And it's, you know, a green, not more of your with your browny greens that you get in the Derwent Lightfast. But I'm sure there is another green. And how many times can I say green? Not finding it. Oh, I've got a blender. Maybe we'll use a blender as well. And just make things go a little bit quicker. Where is it? Am I imagining things? That's black, that's not it. That's light shim. Because I'm sure in the skin tone set or portrait set of the Luminance, you've got 3 greens. You've got the chromium oxide green. You have the middle verdigris, and there's another one. I am sure there is, but I can't find it. But that is also a very nice green. Anyway, it's annoying me a bit. No. Okay. Anyway, doesn't matter. So, where was I? Yeah. So, grass green, 70%. I need to move my camera just a little bit because my head is literally about a centimetre away from it. There we go. That should be a bit better now. So yeah, we're just going to kind of blend these in. Just going very, very lightly over that spring green. Not all the way, but just enough to kind of blend the two together. And then go back to the spring green. And, you know, a word of advice, don't be like me and just use really blunt pencils. It doesn't make life easy, but I don't know where my sharpener is, and I've only got about 40 minutes before I need to go and do stuff. Vivid green. Okay, let's do and I want down here to be darker. Let's go back in with the dark Phthalocyanine. So I don't know if anyone's interested in this, but I thought it would be nice. I adore Leila's work. She is just an exceptional artist. She really is. Okay, now I'm going to go back in with the vivid green. I'm going to go over the top. And that's just going to make it a brighter, darker green? Not brighter, a more vivid darker green. Which is what I want. Because like I said, you know, this is kind of the epitome of spring. So we want, you know, we want the spring greens. We want the really bright, brand new growth kind of colours. You know, when things, not like, you know, when you get to summer and things start to get a bit tired kind of thing. So I'm just going over with the grass green in these areas that we've done. Just kind of blend it together a bit. Okay, so again, I'm going to go back over here, and then we'll move on to this next section. And again, kind of bring that. And now I have a cat joining me. and spring green. I think we'll go over here with spring green as well. And then just on this end here, we're just going to put the grass green like that. And then here, this bit I think needs to be light. And then the grass green. It's difficult to kind of talk you through what I am doing because it's just kind of, I don't know, intuitive almost, I guess. It's just kind of like, well, this needs to be a little bit more of this, and this should be a bit more of this kind of thing. And that's just kind of how I do it. And it, like I said, it is just kind of hard to describe it. Hopefully you can kind of get the gist of it. I am always open for what would you call it? Not, I wouldn't say critique, but kind of critique. Like, not just, oh, that's bad and blah blah blah, but more like, well, maybe it would be easier if you showed this more. You know, that kind of thing. Yeah, I'm always open for that. You know, I want to try and help all of you if I can with colouring. I am by no means an expert at all. I just want to darken up these somewhat. Yeah, I am by no means an expert. I did do GCSE and A-level art, if that means anything at all. So I do, you know, I know a bit about, you know, the theory and that kind of stuff. Yeah, but I will be honest, I mostly did kind of textile art for that, so yeah. Anyway, so yeah, this is how this leaf is looking, and I quite like it so far. I think that needs to be lighter there. Let's go in with that. And I apologise for the amount of times I am just picking up and putting down pencils. I get that it is probably quite a lot. But it's just the 4 colours that I said, you know, at the beginning. And, you know, it's just popping them where you think it's going to look best. Like, here I want that to look a little bit more curved, so I'm just going to put the slightly darker one in, and then maybe go in with the darkest for the centre to kind of give a more recessed look here. And then maybe bring that just a little bit up. Now these are kind of curving downwards, so I'm going to pop the dark Phthalocyanine down here, and maybe a bit more there. Now the vivid. So in this combo, no, okay, I was going to say I'm only using 1 Derwent, but no, I'm using 2 Derwents, so I just got 2 Derwents and 2 Lightfast. You probably don't need them, both of them. I am sure there are comparable colours, kind of, you know, in each set. I'm just doing it because, you know, as I was just going through my pencil case, the first ones I saw, I thought, yeah, they'll do what I want, kind of thing. And I'm going to kind of go over it all a little bit. That needs some of the vivid. And there, I think I need some Phthalocyanine. Now, if you don't have a really deep dark green, what you can do is pop a layer of a red down and then go over it with green, and that will kind of create that same type of really dark green. Because I know not a lot of sets have, you know, really dark greens, which is a pain because they are very, very handy. Okay, no, I don't know if this is actually going to do anything, but we're just going to go over with the blender a little bit. This is the Derwent blender. I would prefer the burnisher, but I don't know where my burnishers are, so we're just going to use this. And I don't know if you can see if it's making a difference or not, but yeah. Okay, how is that looking? I think that's looking okay. Yeah, I think I'm pleased with that. So, now basically just going to do the exact same thing on the next one. So, my pencils are trying to hide from me. I'm going to put my phone there so I can... So, should we do this one or should we do the daffodil one? Maybe I'll do the daffodil. So yeah, I think I'm just going to use the same greens if I'm honest. So I'm going to have... Ooh, why is there some brown in there? Why is my pencil gone dirty? Okay, I don't like that one little bit. Let's just grab my eraser a second. Okay. Let's try that again. That's better. I don't know what was going on with that. Okay, so we're just going to pop that down. And then, like we did with the others, we're going to go over the grass green 70%. I'm just going to go over most of it, but leaving some of that. And then we're going to go into vivid. We're going to try and just concentrate that where Leila's done a little bit of stippling. Now I'm going to go back with the grass green. And I think I actually want to cover a bit more. Like that. And then we want the middle, not the middle, the Phthalocyanine green. And then we're going to put that in the centre. And out just a little bit. And then we'll go back in the vivid and go over that centre. And now I'm just gonna kind of, go back and forth a bit and increase the intensity. Just get things kind of blended how I want them to be. There's still a bit of a weird brown mark, but I don't know if you probably can't really see it in the camera, but I can see it, and it is kind of annoying me, but there's not much I can do about it, I don't think. I think I am just going to have to live with it. So now I'm going in the vivid a little bit more at the bottom. The grass green again. And then the spring green. Like so. So once you kind of know what you're doing, it doesn't take too long really to, make a start. Now let's start on this one. So this, I know I want it to be lighter because it's on top of the sleeve. So we're gonna kind of do that, and we're just gonna decide, how we want this. And then that's just going to be curving downwards, so kind of all of this bit is going to be kind of lighter. And there, a bit there. And then we'll kind of sort the rest of that out as we go. So then we'll just go into grass green. And start putting this in everywhere. Again, just making sure we are going to leave some of that spring green at the moment untouched. Because we do want to, sorry about my phone, I'll mute it if I remember in a minute, if it continues. And what was I saying? Yeah, we just want to, preserve a bit of our highlight. Now, I've messed up a bit because I want some of that there. So, let's go back over these again a little bit. Like that. Now, I'm going to go into vivid. And again, kind of do the exact same thing, just bringing it up a little bit into the spring green. Not spring green, the grass green. Now at this point you can decide which bit you want to be the darkest. And you can just pop that vivid green in those areas so you can start to see. I'm going to go in the darkest, which is the dark Phthalocyanine. And just kind of, you know, solidify those shadows. And then we'll work a little bit on the tips of these leaves here. So I just realised, I think that is meant to curve downwards, but we've not done it like that, so that is fine. Vivid green again. So we're just gonna go down our centre with that. We've missed some here. Okay, now going back in with the grass green. And we're just gonna start to build up that intensity a little bit and blend it. Spring green. Back to the grass green. And you know, this is all there is to it. It is just very simple. You know, anyone can do it. Anyone. You just kind of need to have the patience to, you know, get those layers and everything. This is the vivid green, and I just want to emphasize these tips a little bit, I think. Maybe just a little tiny little bit more of the dark Phthalocyanine. And just really kind of deepen up those bits that we know we want quite dark. Now I'm going to go back to the grass green. Go over. That needs one colour. I want the vivid. It needs a little bit here. Spring green. So as you can see, the spring green over the grass green 70% just makes this really nice, really bright green. Now, I am much more a fan of your more kind of olivey greens, but for a picture like this, that is kind of just screams spring. I do want these more brighter, vivid greens rather than. Here's the page I've done in here. I got. Well, no, they're kind of. Those are quite bright, vivid as well, actually. So, not in this book, but yeah, I tend to prefer the more olives than anything else. So, all we're gonna do is just continue. Just deciding, you know, where we want things to be the brightest. Make those kind of curve a little bit. And it can be a bit tricky sometimes to kind of see what is what in Leila's work, because it's just so intricate. But you know, you look at something and first of all you think, oh, that's just, you know, part of the background kind of thing. But then as you get more of it done, you might notice, oh, actually that's a leaf, or, you know, that's a little bit of a leaf, or that's a stem, and stuff like that. I need that darker still. That's really dark in that bit there. There we go. Okay. Do some there. Let's do a bit of work down here because we haven't got much done down here. Go into dark Phthalocyanine just in a couple of places. So what is everyone's plans for this weekend? Don't think I'm doing anything. Just walking the dogs and, you know, the usual stuff. Last week, me and my mother went shopping. Kind of. Well, she went shopping. I just kind of came along, but I did get a couple of little bits. I got some paint by number in the range. Sorry, it's a bike outside, or a car, one of them, who knows. And a single open stock polychromos from Hobbycraft that I needed to replace, and that was the Green Earth, which is my favourite green, I think, from Polychromos. Which I should probably put in the pencil case because it's currently just still in the bag. Wherever the bag may have gotten to. Eek. So this kind of goes in behind the dandelion, which makes it a little awkward. But, you know, just do what you can. I mean, honestly, no one is going to notice if, you know, a bit of your dandelion kind of blends into the leaf more than it should, or whatever. it's like you are the person that's going to see your mistakes the most. The likelihood is no one else is going to notice. And that can be quite a difficult thing to, get into your head. You always are going to be your worst critic. Because you are the one that had, whatever image in mind that you wanted the page to turn out like. And if it doesn't turn out like that, then, you are far more likely to look at it and be like, oh, well, I wanted that to be like this, and this should have been that, and so on and so forth. But no one else is going to know that. Oh, I'm just throwing pencils, right? Yeah, no one else is going to know that. So unless you tell them, and, even then, they're probably just going to be like, I see absolutely nothing wrong with it. It's amazing. I love it. Kind of scenario. So yeah, that's that one done. I quite like how those look, actually. Yeah. I mean, I've done them a little bit exaggerated, I guess you could say. But sometimes, that's just what you want. Oh, yeah, excuse me. Sorry, I am apparently knackered. Okay, so we'll do just this teeny weeny little bit down by here. And then that's the time now. Yeah, then we're gonna have to call it, I think. So I'm just gonna go in with the vivid green here. Just very lightly, and go over some of it. Now this is a really small space, so you could just pop one colour in there and it would be absolutely fine. Now we've got dark Phthalocyanine, this end to be quite dark because it's kind of underneath a bunch of stuff. And then we're just going to go into grass green and just kind of blend that all together a bit. Okay. So, I know we have done so much, haven't we? We've done like 2.5 leaves. That's just so much in like 40 minutes, however long it's been. But, on a page it can be quite intimidating, and this page is pretty intimidating. That's all you need to do. Just pick out 1 or 2 leaves to do at a time, and before you know it, you're gonna have the majority of the page done. So yeah, I hope that this was somewhat useful for you. And see, we're looking really nice together. I love the contrast, actually. I think that's looking really pretty. So yeah, thank you very much for watching. And I'll see you again next time. I might go and do some more leaves on my own. But yeah, let me know if you do want, if you do want to just see more filmed, and I will film some more, but I don't know if I'll do the entire page. Yeah. So, thank you very much for, listening to the ramble yet again, and, watching the video. If you could like, comment, and subscribe. As I always say, that would mean the world to me. It really would. I am now over 200 subscribers, and honestly, it just makes me so happy. I can't even begin to explain it. So yeah, anyway, enough of the ramble. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.